This is a really interesting one. The MS Now, and by the way, guys, we have the equivalent of a swear jar. If anybody calls it MSNBC, you got to put 40 grand in the bucket. So be careful what you say.
I'm sorry, was that mandated by Comcast? Was that
exactly? Branding is everything. MS Now has two great reporters. Remind me their names. Carol Lessing, is that her name? She was at the Washington Post. Lenig. Carol Lenig, very good reporter. I think she's won a Pulitzer, maybe. And then Ken Delanian, who is a very nice guy. I'll say some people have a more jaundiced view of Ken than others, including Larry. Anyway, they have a story written with gusto that says Kash Patel. There's been lots of controversy lately about his girlfriend getting protection even when he's not around, and there's allegations that he's been demanding when they said, well, she doesn't need this much protection. He says she does. They have a story saying that she was out drinking with her girlfriends in Nashville, and that she insisted they drive her inebriated girlfriend home. The FBI drive her home, and that when they refused, Kash Patel called personally and said, "No, drive my girlfriend's girlfriend home." Okay, the story's written clearly, and again, it's of a piece with a lot of negative stories about Kash Patel of late. Here's the story: Kash Patel has on more than one occasion ordered that the security detail protecting his girlfriend escort one of her allegedly inebriated friends home after a night of partying in Nashville, according to three people with knowledge. Okay. That couldn't be clearer. Three people with knowledge, they don't hedge it at all. The reaction from the Justice Department and Trump folks has been ferocious. And these are not like Hegseth style non-denial denials, right? These are not blanket, like saying this story is, fake news. Not blanket, but vague, right? Here's some of the denials that have been issued. First of all, this is from the Justice Department, or is it Justice Department or FBI spokesperson? Which is this FBI. So here's what the FBI spokesperson said: 1,000% false and did not happen. And I'd like to give you some behind-the-scenes insight into how this hogwash got printed. I got this allegation on Tuesday. It sounded made up, and I told the reporter. So I went and checked with everyone involved: Alexis, that's Kash Patel's girlfriend, who doesn't even drink, the director, the detail, and more. All of them said it didn't happen. Couldn't find any corroboration or record of it whatsoever. I went back to the reporter and said, quote, everyone involved says this is false. Can you give me any other info so I can provide some proof beyond just a denial? A date, name of the friend, anything. Their response was, quote, we do not have that info, but we are comfortable with our sourcing. And then here's Rick Grinnell, who's very busy running the Kennedy Center and doing many other things. But he says, Chris Wray ignores the pipe bomber for 4 years, but Ken Delanian can't stop harassing the young woman dating the new FBI director. It's time NBC News executives step in and do something. Now, I will say, if I'm the reporter on this story and I don't have, let alone are refusing to provide the name and the date, it's a bullshit story. Okay? I just don't think you can write a story like that without providing those specifics. And to assert that you don't even have them, right? That's what it said, right? We don't have them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
We don't have them. Now, I assume that the FBI spokesperson is accurately reporting what the reporters said. But if you can't say when and where, and I can tell you, I've dealt with this on both sides as the reporter and as the subject. If somebody's saying, here's an accusation, we can't tell you when it happened or who's involved, but it's true and we're running it, that's bullshit.
I do love the word hogwash. I haven't used that in a while.
It is a good word.
That was well used.
Yeah. You know, when I use it, sometimes I'll say hogwashery.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I mean, I'm annoyed by the fact that that Kash Patel's girlfriend has security detail.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden didn't extend Kamala Harris's detail for 6 more months, and she has a far greater security threat.
Very reasonable position,
Kash
sir.
Patel's girlfriend. So I'm annoyed about the waste, fraud, and abuse of that. And if this story is true, then I'm even further annoyed that they're using taxpayer dollars to gallivant around Nashville, which is a lovely city.
It is, but I endorse all that. But what's your view of how it could be? This is kind of like Himes versus Cotton. They watched the same video and they're seeing two different things. The reporters wrote the story and they put their name on it, and they say it just 100% didn't happen.
Well,
how
Mark,
could that be?
I'm a flack by trade, and so I'm not going to defend the media. You know, when you come, if I were a spokesperson for the FBI, and a reporter came to me and said, we heard this and we don't have any details, any specifics, I would do the exact same thing that the spokesperson did.
Yeah.
I would set the record straight, and then I would lambaste this reporter because this is an unfair reporting if it's not true.
Larry.
Full disclosure, I know Kash Patel, and I have socialized with he and Alexis back in 23. In fact, we were in downtown Annapolis, which is famous for pubs and bars, and I can confirm Alexis
Great
did not
city.
have a drink.
Were you so drunk that the detail had to drive you home?
I was out of my mind.
Yeah, but who drove you home, Larry? My tax dollars? Did my tax dollars drive you home?
He stayed in Annapolis for the night.
We have a Tesla. It self-drives. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I was
not behind. I did not go behind.
I was told you slept on the floor of the bar, but I don't have the specifics.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Let me here.
Just
You're
do it quick.
You're right. Hogwash is correct. I would probably use something a little less FCC compliant. And from a MAGA perspective, this is the kind of thing that we hate, because I just did a quick search on Ken's name and Christopher Wray's use of a jet when he left a Senate Oversight Committee early and said, sorry, I got to catch a flight, so he could use that government plane to go on vacation. Ken didn't write anything about that, but we're writing about the director's girlfriend in there.
All right. I think we all largely agree here.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.